Welcome to Coach Line's Summer Mastermind. It is episode number 9, and we are going to be talking about the 4 metrics to forecast profitability. So this is a good money talk if you're trying to discover like how much you can potentially make, what your profit's going to look like down the road. You're going to want to make sure you know these 4 metrics in order to predict that profitability. So it's really a forecasting exercise, and the goal is to calculate these metrics monthly and then update them accordingly. So we're going to go through these metrics today, but you're going to want to revisit these later down the road and frequently to make sure that your forecasting is accurate. So I'm going to take you through the 4 different metrics that you're going to want to focus on. So let's get into this. The first metrics that you're going to want to make sure you're calculating is leads in. So the number of leads that you are getting into your funnel. Because if you have no leads, then you have a useless funnel. Let's just be real. So your sales funnel is the process from taking a stranger to a client, to a paying client, and your sales funnel won't work if you don't have leads coming into the funnel. So again, just don't get discouraged if you're starting out and you don't have a whole influx of leads coming in. I always tell people you need about 100 leads before you can evaluate your process. So before you can assess whether or not your funnel is working correctly or not. So if your sales funnel is fairly new and you have 10 people coming in, you can't really assess whether or not you're getting enough leads in based off of your sales funnel. So what you want to focus on now is just flooding your funnel so you can have that accurate number of the amount of leads that you're getting in on a weekly basis. So once you get to 100, kind of figure out what that breakdown was weekly, how much did you get per week, and then now you can kind of gauge like, okay, if I'm averaging 20 leads a week, and each lead is paying $1,000, I can get $20,000 a month, right? So you're going to use that number to kind of forecast what your profit margins could look like. The best ways to get leads in, obviously you're learning a lot of great ways in the Summer Mastermind for how to get leads, but I'm going to take you through two of the top ways to get leads in just battery's about to run out. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so let me change the battery and then we'll go through that 2 best ways to get leads. One sec. So, like I was saying, I'm going to take you through the 2 best ways to get leads. The first being creating catchy content. So we went over this briefly in some of the previous episodes, but the purpose of creating catchy content is to provide value to your clients so they can be inclined to engage with you, give them your contact information, and then potentially purchase your services. So remember, just as a refresh, catchy content is content that C, changes lives, A, addresses a why, T, teaches, C is compelling, H, helps solve a problem, and Y, yields an action. So if you start to create catchy content, this is a number 1 way to attract leads and to get people into your funnel. The second and the easiest, fastest way on the greatest scale that you'll be able to attract leads, you could literally get over 100 leads in 1 hour through this method, is to create Facebook ads that cost. So sometimes when you're starting out, your budget won't allow for this, which is again why in my program I teach to create ads way down the road. But since I'm being open and honest, I do want to explain to you what is a number 1 way to get leads if you are looking to do that. So I would recommend that you master the catchy content way first and then move over to leads. That's just my recommendation, because the biggest mistake that I see is that fit pros always just want to dive straight into creating leads. Like anyone who has a business, they want to dive straight into creating ads, and that goes for anyone who has a business. Like everyone's always just like, it's just common misconception that like you have to have ads to get leads, and that's just not true. So when you master the freeway first, then you'll be able to see the light, and then you can start doing ads. But if you just start straight at ads, you'll never see what goes into the freeway. And say Facebook and Instagram shuts down, what is going to be your backup method? So that's why you want to make sure you have other methods in place, and catchy content being a great place to start. So that is the first metric. So the first metric you want to be calculating and measuring on a weekly basis, even a daily basis, monthly basis, is how many leads are you getting into your funnel. The second metric you want to make sure you are taking into account is your conversion rate, because this is a big one. Because a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I had 100 people come into my who opted in, therefore I should have 100 sales. No, it doesn't really work like that. And then that's where the conversion rate comes into play. Conversion rate is going to calculate the percentage of people who the percentage of leads that actually purchase. So if 100 people sign up, it's more likely that about 1% are actually going to convert and purchase your service, which means that's one solitary person. And so that's why a lot of people get discouraged, because they're like, well, I have all these leads but no sales. And that's why I always say start with 100, because if you have a 1% conversion rate, you should at least have one sale. So the number, again, the conversion rate is the number of leads you get that actually purchase from you. And the formula to calculate this is going to be the number of conversions, which is the number of sales, divided by the number of leads that you're getting in, which we went through in step 1, times 100. And that's going to give you a percentage. That's going to give you a conversion rate percentage. So on average, the average conversion rate is going to be between 1 and 5% conversion rate for a normal full funnel. So remember, the full funnel are all of those steps, like downloading your freebie, opting in, getting on your sales call, the strategy session call, having these follow-up emails, then purchasing. That's considered the full entire funnel. So let's just say, like I just said, if you had 100 people and you had a 1% conversion rate for your entire funnel, that means one person out of the 100 would convert. And that's totally normal. It might sound bogus to you, but I love to set people's expectations, because you don't want to go into this thinking like, oh, I'm about to have 1 million sales. Like, we have to be realistic, and I'm here to level set with you. You're starting out. I pray that you get more than 1% conversion rate, but the average is going to be starting out at 1%. So again, 100 people means one person may convert. So that's why it's really important to get to that 100 mark to even see if what you're offering is valuable. So, and especially before you start jumping to conclusions like, oh, my program is not good, like nobody wants it. Like, make sure you have 100 people before that even comes out of your mouth. And then again, once you master catchy content and master creating leads, you'll have hundreds and thousands of people coming into your funnel. And so even if you have a 1% conversion rate and you have 10,000 people coming into your funnel, that's going to be 100 new clients. So you have to think about it in perspective, okay? 1% sounds like a little bit, but if you're doing the things right and getting leads in, the results will be way higher than you ever could imagine, right? So, and the more you work with me, the more you watch the Summer Mastermind, the more you learn and get knowledgeable about things, the better you'll get at generating leads, which means the higher your conversion rate will go. So I started out with like 1%, and as I grew, I could get up to 5% conversion. And so our goal is to get you from 1% to hopefully even beat that and get higher than 5%. So you could even surpass that 5% conversion rate. And that's the whole goal, is as we grow, we get better. And if you hit that 5% conversion, that means 5 people out of every 100 people could end up purchasing, which is very, very high considering the averages. So keep in mind just some tidbits. Keep in mind that the 1% to 5% conversion rate is for the entire funnel. So that's from, again, like I said, downloading your freebie, to them scheduling the call, to them actually getting on the call, to them actually purchasing, and the whole entire shebang, the whole process is considered the full funnel. But you have to keep in mind, for each separate part of the funnel, it'll have its own specific conversion rate. So you'll have a specific conversion rate for the amount of people who download your freebie. You'll have a different conversion rate for the number of people who book a phone call. And so you have to keep that in mind. Like the full funnel conversion is between 1% and 5%. But let's just say, for example, a sales call. So your strategy session, that should have a conversion rate of like 30 to 40%. So that means 30 to 40% of the people that you're talking to on the phone should be converting. And the reason why this is higher is because they've already been pre-qualified with that application, with watching your videos, with getting that catchy content, all that stuff. So you should be able to convert at a higher rate. But in the grand scheme of things, even if you get 30 to 40% people convert, your entire funnel will still equate to between the 1% to 5% conversion. So I hope that makes sense. You have to look at it holistically and then break it down per part of the funnel. Let's see. Okay, and you'll also want to account for the fact that some people are just freebie lovers. Some people just obsess over freebies and download any freebie that comes their way. Like, ooh, something free, I'm gonna get it. Ooh, something free, I'm gonna get it. But they really have no intention of purchasing anything. They really have no intention of getting any results. They really are just freebie hoarders. So you have to take that into account for your funnel. So even if you get 100 people to opt in, 90 of those people could be freebie lovers and just be obsessed with freebies. So that's why you really want to start to get leads, lots of leads in, so you can account for all of those freebie lovers who are just getting downloads to get downloads. That is a reason why sometimes you might have a lot of downloads, but maybe not a lot of strategy sessions booked, because the people were just downloading it because they wanted something for free. So the thing is, that's why we're pre-qualifying people, and the right people will come if you stay consistent. Consistency is key. You cannot give up. You can't be like, okay, I'm not getting enough people on my sales calls. You can't give up. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And the last part on your conversion rate is, if you have a 0% conversion rate or anything less than 1%, I would say, you probably have two possible problems. Problem number one is you probably have an offer problem. That means people probably don't want what you're offering, so you're going to want to tweak what you're offering. That could be problem number one. Problem number two is you might have a funnel problem and you're not getting enough leads in, which means somewhere in your funnel something's broken. And maybe one being your content isn't catchy enough, or your landing page isn't set up properly. So there's something that is wrong with your funnel. So it could either be an offer problem or a funnel problem, and we can figure that out together. So that is metric number 2, your conversion rate. So you want to figure out the number of people who are actually purchasing based on your number of leads, which was metric number 1. Oh, I just did like a super intense workout and my neck is killing me, yo. Anybody have any tips for necks hurting? Please let me know. Okay, sorry. Irrelevant. Okay, so profit value is going to be our third metric we're going to want to focus on. So this, the way that you measure profit is by taking the customer value and subtracting it from the customer conversion cost. And so I'm going to take you through what all of those things, but customer value equals how much are they worth? How much are they worth? So let's just say you have a product that you sell for $100. Again, this is just an example with a product. So you have a product that's $100. Your client purchase it. That means the customer value is $100 because it's a one-time purchase. When they purchase it, they're valued at $100. But let's just say you have a monthly subscription, which is probably most of us who are watching this video. You probably have a monthly subscription. Let's just say your monthly subscription is between $250 and $500. For the sake of this example, let's just stick with $250. So each month, someone's paying you $250 to receive your services. It's going to be different now to figure out your customer value, because now that they're paying each month, we're gonna need to figure out their lifetime value. So like, how much are they worth over time for making all those $250 payments? So we'll first need to determine how long do they usually stick around. So if you have a 6-week program, do they actually stick around for the whole 6 weeks, or are they mostly only sticking around for the 4 weeks? So let's just say you have they usually stick around for 6 weeks. Okay. And so what you'll need to do is multiply that monthly amount towards that to that 6 months. So 250 times 6 equals 1,500. So now we have our customer value number, which since it's their lifetime customer value, that is what we call a CLV, and that's customer lifetime value. So in the business world, you'll probably hear this a lot, like what's your CLV? And you'll sound super cool and smart if you actually know what that is. So it's your customer lifetime value. So how much is your customer worth over time? So and you can use that example that we just went through. So the thing is, knowing how much you can make from one client it is great as it pertains to revenue and how we want to figure out our net profit is going to be subtracting that customer value from the conversion costs. And so now that we know what our CLV is, or whatever your regular just plain old customer value is, we can figure out that conversion cost, which is ultimately going to give us our profit value. So the conversion cost is how much it costs to convert a stranger to a customer. So how much does it cost you to get someone to actually purchase from you? So how you're going to calculate this is you're going to want to add up everything it costs to run your funnel. So how much are you spending on ads? How much is your consultation call software? So if you have an actual software set up to do your strategy sessions, like maybe you're doing them on Skype and you pay Skype monthly bills, how much does that cost? Maybe you want to factor in, you have an hourly rate and you charge $50 per car. Not like you're not actually charging them, but like in your head, your time is worth money. So you can calculate that in a cost, even if you're not actually getting money for it. So let's just say $50 an hour. That's going to be an additional cost that we're going to use to include in this conversion cost. Okay. And so once you have all of that added up, you'll have your conversion cost. So let's just say your conversion cost is $100. So it costs me $100 to get someone to go from a stranger to a sale. So maybe it costs me $10 per person to run ads over the life cycle of them, and then I do a strategy session and my rate's a lot higher. So let's just say all of this totals out to $100. And this is just an example, right? So to find your profit, you're going to subtract the conversion costs from your CLV, your customer lifetime value. So remember, our CLV was $1,500 in that last example, and then our conversion cost in this example is $100. So $1,500 minus $100 is $1,400. So this is going to be your total profit value per customer is $1,400. So I know that was a lot of numbers, but to simplify it, we're just taking our customer lifetime value minus your conversion cost to get your profit value per customer. Okay. And so if your monthly net income goal, aka your profit, is going to be you're aiming to get $10,000 a month, that means you can forecast that you're going to need about 7 clients every month worth $1,400 in profit value, because 1,400 times 7 is roughly $10,000. So as you can see, for the whole picture, that's kind of how we're going to be using your profit value to forecast how many people you're going to need to convert as customers in order to hit your target number. Okay. So that was a lot of numbers. So rewind that, take it back if you need to recap. Okay, so that was our third metric, our profit value. Measure the amount of money that you're going to make and how many people that you need in order to make sales to make that amount. And then we talked about our conversion rate, and number 1 was the number of leads we're getting in. So our fourth and final metric that you want to make sure that you are monitoring and calculating regularly is your customer life cycle. So this metric defines how long it takes from the time they enter your funnel to the time it takes for them to purchase. So how long is that whole process? That's going to be your customer life cycle. So the average customer life cycle, I would say, is about 30 days. Again, it differs per industry, differs per person, differs per service, but on average it could be 30 days. So that includes, it usually takes 7 different touch points before a customer actually makes a purchase. So that means someone needs to engage with your content or see your content or be served your content or hear about you about 7 times before they actually make a purchase. And that's a pretty big deal. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think like, well, I put out an ad, they haven't bought it. They probably have to see your ad literally 7 times, and you're probably a victim yourself. You probably seen things and like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. And then in your head, and then probably after time number 7, you don't even probably realize it's time number 7. And again, 7 is just an estimation, but after a while, you just give in and you're like, okay, fine. It's the same for running your business and you getting leads as well. So the 7 touch points before a purchase is made could easily be this. So it could be 1, the first touch point is them ingesting your catchy content or your ad. 2, the second touch point is them downloading your freebie. 3, the next one is them ingesting another piece of catchy content or another ad. 4 is where they can book a call or watch your webinar. That's another touch point. 5 is where they see another piece of your catchy content or your another ad. 6 would be them attending a call or a webinar. 7 is ingesting another piece of catchy content or ad. And after those 7 touch points, at that time, then they decide to make a purchase. So as you can see, that's why it's super important to stay consistent and continue to engage with your prospective clients, continue to post catchy content, continue to provide value, because they're going to need those 7 touch points before they make a purchase. So, and sometimes your life cycle might be longer than 30 days. Like I know some people have taken a year to convert, but at the end, it's all worth it because that person's going to finally get that transformation. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? So we want to make sure we're taking into account our customer life cycle, because let's just say your life cycle is 30 days and it takes you 30 days to convert someone. That sale that you think you're going to make is actually not going to happen this month. It's going to happen next month. So that is the forecast is going to be for the next month. And so that's what you have to take into account. So let's just say you have a 15-day life cycle. That means in the middle of every half of each month is its own life cycle. So you can expect to make this profit on half the month and the exact same profit on the end of the last part of the month, right? So, but here's the catch. If you have a high converting funnel or a funnel, and one particular being the strategy session, if your strategy session converts very, very high, you can speed up your customer life cycle tremendously. Like you can have a 2-day customer life cycle. So imagine that you can cut down from 30 days to a 2-day life cycle, because let's just say you have a strategy phone call. Day 1 is where they're ingesting a piece of catchy content or an ad. They immediately sign up to take that strategy session. You have that same strategy session the next day, and boom, they purchase right on the call. Your life cycle, oh, I have something to do now. But that doesn't matter. You're more important. I literally, just a tidbit, I keep my life on track by having these alarms go off, because working from home and being an entrepreneur, you can get off track and things. So if you're looking for ways to stay on track, set yourself alarms so you know when it's time to do something. Because had I not had alarm on, I would probably be on this video for like a whole nother hour and then completely miss what I was supposed to be doing. But anyway, that's a sidebar, and we are towards the end of this. So like I was saying, you can completely cut that 30-day life cycle into 2 days by having a funnel that converts well. And how you get a funnel that converts well is by doing everything that you're learning, and by getting a coach, and by speaking to me to get help, and by engaging in the Facebook group, and just getting better and growing. Okay, so let's get your customer life cycle down to the smallest time possible. So that was a lot of information, so I hope that all made sense. But just to recap, the 4 metrics that you're going to want to make sure you are calculating on a regular basis to forecast your profitability are: 1, the leads in. How many leads are you getting into your funnel? 2, the conversion rate. How many of those leads are actually purchasing your product? 3, the profit value. How much are you actually making from those clients after you've accounted for after you've accounted for the after you've accounted for the customer value and the conversion cost. And then the last and fourth one is the customer life cycle. How long does it take from them to turn from a stranger to an actual customer? So make sure you're looking at those 4 metrics regularly, and you'll be able to easily forecast your profitability. If you want more help with this topic or help with ways where you can increase this profit potential, or you just need help in general building and launching your online fitness business, or you just want to take things to the next level, be sure you book that free strategy call with me, and we will run through all of this. We will get you a plan in place to help take you to the next level. You can book that call at mycoachline.com/apply. I'll put the link in the description as well. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. We are really deep into the Summer Mastermind. So let me know how you are enjoying this and if this is helpful. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this. I want everyone to receive this information, because when we succeed together, we are better together. And you know what I'm going to say, because I always say it. Be sure to train, love, and grow. I love you guys, and I will see you on episode 10. Y'all, we have made it to episode 10. I will see you on episode 10 tomorrow. So have a fabulous day. Talk to you soon. Want to know more about how to build, launch, and grow a profitable online fitness business? Book a call with our team today. We will help you create a plan and give you strategies that you can implement ASAP, so you can start making money and impacting lives now.